As my mental health continues to deteriorate due to an overexposure to these crappy games, well, I must trudge on to play and review Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, a classic 80s slasher film. Wait, I used that sort of joke already for E.T. Well, moving past that, incidentally, did you know this game wasn't actually based off of the first film? Hence why my confused joke couldn't actually work this time? No, it's actually meant to be a sidequel of sorts to Friday the 13th, Part 7, New Blood. There's no real connection, except, well, of course, the weird supernatural shit going on in both, and I'll briefly explain what I mean by that. For one, the movie has a main character with telekinetic powers, and for another, the game has zombies as fightable enemies, with their inclusion within the game explained as poorly as my attempts at finding a connecting factor for these two cash grabs. No, okay, I can't explain myself. My poor attempts at jokes were actually trying to prepare you for how inadequately put together and rushed this game feels. Phew. Saved myself from having to explain why I included these jokes, and just reminding you that will be the last time I get so self-acknowledging in this series. Would you kindly remember that I said that, so when I refer to it in any of my future episodes you will understand, as a sort of a callback. Thank you. Now I best stop this overly long introduction. An introduction of such that helped me immensely, as it helped me elongate the longevity of this video and stall for a couple of more seconds before I have to play this game. Enough stalling. LGN, Friday the 13th, first review, let's fucking go! Wow, that title screen scared me, just like the game's terrible quality scared me the first time playing it. Wait, this review is stylistically too similar to my E.T. review. Okay, let's just skip my first time playing the game. Now, on a conceptual level, I can't lie, the game's premise sounds promising, as you get to choose between 6 camp counselors that have differing skill levels of attributes that serve as the main form of gameplay. You explore Camp Crystal Lake to try and find Jason, defeating him when doing so. While exploring, you can find better weapons. And this sounds like an interesting game, doesn't it? But concepts can only take you so far, as seen with this game. This game is way too hard and doesn't compensate this with balanced gameplay. For starters, there is almost no balance through the camp counselors, as there are 2 objectively better counselors to choose from at the start, due to their higher statistics in comparison with the other counselors. It seems like every other time you're just about to reach a new weapon, the children need saving. On the other side of the map, and you've only got the rock as a weapon. Zombies spawn so frequently, you start to wonder if Crystal Lake was an Indian burial ground before it became a summer camp. The gameplay in the lake is harder, as moving the canoe has a floaty feel, with zombies and crows trying to blindside you, and even Jason if he decides to spawn outside of the cabin, and that mama's boy isn't dodgeable. Regaining health is only limited to vitamins, which are in short supply and only get used when you're about to die, regaining a measly amount. Better weapons are only available to the counsellor you retrieve them with, and to give weapons to another counsellor, you first need to find them in a cabin and trade. Oh look, the time it took for me to trade with you means that some more kids are in danger. Wow, I spent this time wisely. The in-game map is confusing as its curves and its style don't always quite match the 2D playing style of the game, leading to times where I was going in the wrong direction. Even more confusing to navigate are the sections not marked on the map, which include the forests, caves, and any cabin. The forest and cave are disorientating as most of the backgrounds look the same, and while most of the pathways outside are similar looking as well, at least there's a map to help. Well, okay, I'm using help in quotations there, but you know what I'm getting at. Cabins are a pain to search because a whole new control scheme is then implemented in the game, and most of the time exploring them you'll be thinking, now why can't I do this in which I was able to do outside? The most frustrating thing in the game is when the only 2 good counsellors are dead and you're left with the mediocre ones. Oh wow, you are really terrible at most actions, but your rowing stat is good. Yeah, I'm really gonna get used to that when the lake is only a small bit of the map. Please just row your canoe gently down a waterfall, you useless piece of garbage that shouldn't have even been included in this. Wait, sorry, I went on that tangent. I was just having flashbacks. The funniest thing is that while this game is based from a horror film, the game itself isn't scary. It's Jason, isn't it? This Barney the purple dinosaur looking ass thing always makes me think I'm gonna get a hug when he moves in for the kill. Well, that was Friday the 13th, which was the second video game to come out with the same name, and with the movie sharing that same title, I bet that didn't confuse anyone at all. Sorry for that second tangent, but to conclude, this game had potential, but unfortunately was developed by a bunch of apes who convinced everyone that they could create video games. The game we got, however, was one that was perplexing to understand and frustratingly difficult, that I myself couldn't finish. Yes, I know that is fairly incomprehensible, but it was that bad. Now, usually I have a linking factor between episodes in the outro. I know what links this episode with the next. The review ends.